This is our part 4 of the Poinsettia series. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, you may probably want to do that now so that you don't miss out. In this series, I'll be describing the end product. If you watch these videos from part 1, 2, 3, this is part 4 of it, and you will see where we started potting these when they were still little tiny cuttings, as to now, which is the end product. Now, this is the end product. This is the final product which you will buy at the store. But in describing them individually, I will use one variety to show what we potted, what we have, and how they came out, and all those practices which we did before: pinching, side shooting, staking, whatever we did, what effect does it have on the end product? Because we have at least 5 different varieties in here on so many different pots, I will describe one specific variety and we will explore it from the different sizes we potted and what that actually has effect on the final product, which is this end. So stay tuned and let's go through this journey. So the specific variety I'm going to talk about here is the Golden Glo. That's what it's called. It's a slight golden looking yellow flowers. Now, if you followed us in the series, you will realize we have potted them in 6-inch pot, and in 6-inch pot, this is what you get. If you look at this plant, it's really bushy. Like, there are so many branches in it. Some of them are actually all the way inside the plant everywhere, and it's also wider and it's nicer and compact. If you look in, you will see there is only one cutting. We used one cutting for 6-inch pot, but this one was pinched. So all these stuff out here, it's because the crop was pinched. So we have 6-inch pinched and it gives you something like that. And then we put them in 8 inches too. If you remember, we used 8 inches. We used 3 seedlings, cuttings. There are 3 plants in there, but they were all pinched. So in pinching, it also gives you that side. So you have an 8-inch, it's a little bit bigger than a 6-inch, and they were all pinched. So you see the plant gives you that characteristic of nice big round shrub. And then you have, now here is where the big difference you will see in the operations. We have here a 10-inch pot. We put 4 cuttings and we pinched them. You can see it's really shrubby. It's the same shrubby as an 8-inch. The only difference is the 10-inch one is taller, the 8-inch one is shorter. So it's a smaller plant comparatively, but it's wider and it's still it's like a little bit more shorter. The biggest difference here is if you take a 10-inch plant which was put in 4 cuttings, and we did not pinch this, but rather we side shooted it. So you can see it's really open. There are no side shoots. It gives you the height, still gives you a nice beautiful flower. It gives you the height, but it's not as bushy. So you do that for the height. And if you compare them, this is 10-inch side shooted, this is 10-inch pinched. You can see, if you put them side by side, pinched, tall, wider, side shooted, tall. They all give you a flower. This one is bushy and has more flowers, but it's still shorter. This has just flowers on the top and it's very tall. So you can see the difference here. That was showing you guys how different practices actually makes us arrive to different end product. Remember, every single cutting which is in here was brought at the same time, was given the same treatment, except operation-wise, some were pinched, some were side shooted. But they were fed the same, given enough light, the same amount of light, same amount. All factors remained constant, except for the operations of, for the practices of pinching and side shooting. And the other difference is the size of the pot. If you have a pot which is only 6 inches, then you can see the roots are really compacted, which restricts the growth of the plant, and that's why you end up with a plant of that same size. If you have an 8 inch on the other hand, you have 3 cuttings in there, and if you take it out, the roots will be a little bit more spread than the one in 6 inch, and that will give you a wider plant which becomes a little bit more big. So all the practices we did before makes you arrive to these conclusions, and that was the whole point of pinching, side shooting, and different pot sizes, plus how many cuttings you're putting in a pot. I want to talk about varieties now, how these varieties will affect your decision, and depending on actually what you want to do and what your end product is expected. So I have here 4 different varieties. These ones were grown, all of them are in 6 inch pots. All factors were constant to them, to these, at least to these 4. They are all in 6 inch pots, they were all pinched, the cuttings were brought on the same day. But different varieties will grow differently depending on how it was bred. Now I'll talk about the color and how big or different these varieties are. We'll start with the, this one is called the autumn leaf. It's a blend, you can see the color is a blend of apricot pink and a little gold. So apricot pink and gold. But the plant is like, it's smaller compared to the Golden Glo. The Golden Glo is soft gold in color, and the plant will grow a little bit more bigger. And then you have the Christmas Cinnamon Beauty. The Christmas Cinnamon Beauty, it's a little bit more of lighter peach in color. The plant is a little bit more bigger as compared to the Golden Glo. And then you have the Viking Cinnamon. The Viking Cinnamon, the plant is bigger, you can see it's taller, and the color is a little bit more of a warm peach. So the variety which you choose also has a factor in the growth. Different varieties will grow differently, even though they were brought at the same time, given the same treatments, all practices were the same, but they will still differ depending on the actual variety. This will be explained before you buy the cuttings. So depending on what poinsettia you want to grow, they will explain and describe to you which one is going to grow what to what height. You want to consider that before you actually indulge yourself into growing these poinsettias. So that's another factor to consider too, what variety you want to grow. Remember, if you were putting these in 8 inch pots, it will give you the same thing. It will be bigger 8 inch pot. This one will be a little bit more 8 inch pot. Like, that's the size which is going to go depending on what the variety. So this shows you how a variety by itself will affect the growth characteristic of that particular plant. Now, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about how varieties can actually revolve or reverse themselves. Most of these poinsettias here are hybrids. Breeders have been in the laboratory, they played around with the genetics, they do a lot of other stuff, which is a totally different thing. All we receive from a supplier, from a nursery, from a breeder is they will tell you this is called this and this is what you expect them to be. So I have a variety here called Picasso. We have at least 200 pots of these. Now, from the description, if you look at the pictures everywhere, Picasso is supposed to look this way, and that's what we are expecting as end product. But out of all these pots, out of all these plants, there are some which will try to go to the original of whichever the parentage of that crop. So this is Picasso, and this one is Picasso. They were all Picasso. You can see this one has the characteristic which you want, which is a little bit of like almost red dust thrown in the creamy leaf. Now, this one here, can see it started to change. Some of it wants to go real red, but you can still find some branches which are still staying. This is one cutting, by the way. It's a 6-inch, all to one cutting. You can see just one branch decides to be like a little bit more red than the other guys. And then you may end up with products like this. That dusting thing, very few, in like just one branch. The other one is like way far, but it's way red. Nothing wrong with it. It's like during sampling, quality control, you just get maybe a couple of plants will look like that. So they won't look picture perfect as the Picasso you see from the catalog of the producer or the grower, whoever bred the, whoever give you the breed. You will have these offsets. It's like, because they were hybridized, they are really not that stable. But still, it gives you the shape of the flower you wanted. Just the color has gone to its origin. Nothing wrong. Just like some of them will actually do, depending on the environments that some of them maybe didn't take the fertilizer right. But you can probably see one variety and it gives you totally 3 different things. So that happens. That happens when you're dealing with hybridized plants, especially in this situation. I know some people will never be happy until they see the red poinsettias. So here they are. We have a lot of red poinsettias. This specific variety is the amber, glowing amber, and these were a little bit, because they're more from the region ones, they're a little bit bigger than the other varieties. So thank you very much for watching. I'm very happy and glad that you were here and you could have walked with me through all this poinsettia journey thing until we have our final product of it. And I hope you enjoyed them, you have learned a lot. If you haven't seen some videos, you can go back and watch. If you didn't understand the terminologies, you can go back and see exactly what I meant by some of the stuff which I talked about. Now for the end of the poinsettia series, I'll be doing the actual pruning of them and the aftercare. That will be our final video for the poinsettia series. And this will be available in my in this channel. You can go to the playlist and then just pull up poinsettias. I will have all the 5 videos. For now, there will be 4. Thank you very much and have a blessed day and stay safe.